We're on to the next step here. I have everything laid out that I'm going to use to make my sushi. I've got over here my rice. It's still covered with a damp cloth. I have my water bowl. I've got my cucumber and avocado. I have got my cooked shrimp, my scallops, my tuna that's already kind of diced. I'll dice up a little bit further than that. I've got my tuna here as well. I've got my salmon, and I've got my yellowtail. I've got my imitation crab, unagi. I've got my salmon roe, my flying fish roe, and my smelt roe. So I've got that all laid out. I also have my cutting board here that I will use for all of my raw fish. So I don't want to mix up my vegetables with my fish. So this will be just for my fish, and then I also have a cutting board that I'll use for cutting my cucumber and avocado, and even cutting my nori in half. So that's all here for me. Notice that I have quite a large knife. This is important because you want to be able to cut through your fish. So you're going to actually end up using the whole length of your knife. Make sure it's non-serrated. You don't have to go out and buy a Japanese knife. There are plenty that are out there. Some of them are expensive, some of them are reasonable. You can do that if you want to, or just do something that you have at home. Okay, that's something that you can always do. So the first thing is I'm going to show you an example of my tuna. I want you to notice that there are the lines, the fibers going through the tuna. This is great. This is actually fat fibers, and it's something that you think, oh, fat fibers. Yeah, it's actually really good though. You want that in your sushi. So we're going to be cutting so that the fibers show up in each slice for nigiri and for sashimi. Now this is a little bit more narrow than I would prefer when making sashimi or nigiri, especially when it's going to be sitting on a bed of rice. You kind of wanted to overlay the rice on both ends. But I got this at the market, and it was a reasonable price. And again, I'm doing this at home, so I wanted to make sure that I had a good price tag with it. It's still easy to use. It's still pretty. It's just a little bit shorter than you would see at a sushi restaurant. I also have the salmon. It's a little bit longer. I like how the salmon's a little bit wider. It makes it just a little bit more decorative when you have it on your bed of rice. So you always want to start with your tail end. Now they already made it into a block for me, so I don't have to worry about a tail end. But if it did have a tail, if it tapered onto one end and that's the tail end, that's where I would start angling my cuts with my knife. Now it's your decision if you want to go straight down or do an angle cut. I can show you how to do both. If you already know how to do all this, then great. But this is just a couple steps I want to teach you about cutting raw fish. Okay, so I'm going to start with my tuna.